Son of the Morning here to bring you another comic review. Today we're going to be looking at Tartarus by Johnny Christmas and Jack Cole. This is an Image comic. It's a big one. It did come with a $5.99 price tag on it, but it is a 44-page story, so a 44-page story for $5.99. Some Marvel stories you're paying $4.99 for 24 or 22 pages, something like that. Anyway, very interesting book here, very different. What you find out at the end is when you read the writer's note is this is a project that he's been working on. Both of them have been working on for 5 years. It's a very interesting concept. There is a lot of sort of stuff to know here, but first we'll just quickly go over the credits. We have, of course, writer is Johnny Christmas, artist Jack T. Cole, letterer Jim Campbell, editor Stephanie Cook, designer Ben Didier, and wordmark logo Ryan Hughes. So on the first page here, basically what they're doing is they're giving us a little bit of an outline of the star system where our main issues here are taking place. There appears to be two kingdoms or two empires in the space. It's divided by this line here. So far we're focusing on Tartarus, it would seem. Excuse me. Now this is this is an interesting thing here, where it's, excuse me while I take a sip of a drink here. These are sort of the schematics of a prison where a very, very high security prisoner is being held. It's just showing the whole thing. I like how intricate it is. The story starts off in the pit. The pit is the very bottom of this prison. It is the most high security place that you can be, and it is holding a prisoner named Surka, former warlord. And so, as we will come to find out, she is the former warlord of Tartarus. Now, the first part of this book is just really about Surka kind of breaking out first by level, and I mean you can see there's many levels to the prison. You can see she started off in the pit, moved to sub-level 8. So the first part of the book is really about Surka breaking out of the prison. Level by level, killing whoever gets in her way, letting prisoners out to start a riot. These are really interesting, a really interesting beginning to the story, where you just see this warrior type who's trying to get out there. Now, this will just point out here that this person here is the Master of Locks. Hisa Aikida's headquarters, the warden of the pit. So she's in charge of Surka, who has just escaped. She has just found out, and she is headed down there as fast as she can. Now, like I said, they start this prison break, and then what they do is that they want to get to these what Surka's plan is to get to these transport lines that they go all the way to the top of the complex. We're not sure yet why, but we're gonna find out, and it's pretty cool. And so I just find that this is kind of humorous here, where the operational center for the pit, they just seem to have no clue what's going on, even though all hell is breaking loose, and Surka is free, and she gets to this transportation network thing, and she takes it to the top of the corridor, and then she has a plan here which is really, really neat, is that what she's planning on doing is turning the accelerator of this to maximum thrust. And what the workers in the prison here are sort of realizing is, if she does this, she could basically tear the roof off the place. Which she does. So you see the roof gets blown off there, and then you can see now that they're on the ground at Tartarus. So now she's out, and she is ready to find, she's looking for somebody. She gets out, she's looking for somebody important, and this is where it happens here. This is where Surka is reunited with her daughter. So it's a very sort of heartwarming scene. You see Surka being extraordinarily violent, extraordinarily just extraordinarily violent. It's the only word I can think about it. Is that then of course the juxtaposition to that. Now of course there is a new leader since Surka was gone, and they are not happy about Surka being back up. Now it's kind of funny here where this is the new person who is in charge, the new warlord, and she's sort of telling this private here that he's got to kill Surka, and she basically says to him, "I want you to succeed, or aren't you tired of being a joke?" And then he said, "I can't afford to can't afford your kind of help, Cleef." And so Cleef was the person that Surka was looking for immediately when she got out, because that's the person who took her place. She obviously wants her place back, but Cleef seeks out Surka, and she tells her that she's gonna take her down. She's gonna put her back in the ground, whether that's alive or dead. So a great fight here ensues between the two of them. I think it's really interesting here because it just shows how much of a threat that Surka is. Where Cleef is saying the academy has an entire class on how to deal with you, and I teach it. And it's just kind of funny that there's a class centered around, just in case this person ever escapes, we need to be able to take her down. The fight, of course, ensues. A lot of violence happens, and then the private here that Cleef was talking to earlier pulls out this very big, strange gun, and he is aiming at it, and he is warned by the military superiors above him to not shoot it, and they ordered him, but he says, "I can make the shot." They tell him no, he does it anyway. Boom, boom. And then you can just see they're yelling after Surka. Everyone can't believe what's going on. We now have what appears to be an orphan. And a big hole there where they used to be. And so then, of course, somebody has to go to... The guy who shoots them has to go to jail for the murder of the Master of Locks. So, anyway, that is the first part of the story. That's sort of like the origin of Surka, where we pick it up here. They're in a military station that is outside of planet Styx, which is a mining colony of Tartarus. So, basically, we got 3 of the people on the military base. The main characters: Klinzu is a warrior, Oscan is an intel, and Tilde is an admin. Klinzu wants to go on shore leave, and he wants to go to Tartarus. Now, I'm guessing in the past they don't really explain it, but many years have passed. It's been 17 years since the last scene we were there. We don't know what's going on Tartarus, except that we know it's dangerous, and that the commander of the station will have anybody's butt that attempts to go down there. But he wants to go down there. That's what he thinks he's destined to do. He thinks it's going to be fun. It's just adventure. It's kind of interesting here because we find out here that she is actually a farm girl. She's very much raised in a remote area, has a sick grandmother that won't accept any treatment even though there's cures, and he's sort of making fun of that, and she sort of says to him, "Watch how you talk about decent folks, Klinzu." There could be some foreshadowing here, so that's why I just wanted to point that out. So next, a very ominous, strange fellow comes to bring a package for the general there, for General Cabe. And she is the admin, says, just, leave it there and we'll deal with it. At any rate, we'll come back to that. These two are friends, are in a lab, and they're sitting there when she realizes that there is something strange, that her documents have been falsified. And what her response is, "You mean incomplete?" She says that, she was born on an off-world farm. The records just might not be the way they should. Her response here is, "No, they're falsified. There's something's not right." She cross-referenced biosignatures, and in fact, her grandmother is not biologically related to her at all. So then now we go over to here. We're still with this guy here. He's trying to go on his shore leave, and he goes and visits this other guy who is a liquid shaper. Now, what they're mining on this place is this liquid that can be shaped into anything. He knows that this guy has been to Tartarus. He sort of starts asking him about it. And then he's just warning him it's not something to be taken lightly, and that the commander will have his butt if he does, which sort of happens here. And then he lets him know that, and he says, well, he's just salty because Tilde won't give him the time of day. He runs in and says, "What did you say?" He's obviously very angry with him. But then we get back to the important parts here. So basically what she's telling her here is that all of her documents are fake. They aren't real. They don't know who she is. And then all of a sudden an alarm goes off. Once the alarm goes off, all of these soldiers arrive. They ask if they tell her, Tilde, that she's a security threat and that she'd have to come with them. She's a good, loyal person, so she goes, and of course she is met with General Cabe, the high commander of Olympus, the colony there, and he's basically asking her, "Are you loyal?" And she says yes. And he's, "Okay, you've been here, you've been with us this whole time, you've always been loyal. Will you continue to be loyal?" She says, "Of course I will." And then she sort of wants to know, of course, what's going on. So he tells her about this horrible person named Surka who had terrorized for many years, and that she was locked up in a pit, but in that pit she gave birth to Tilde. So we now know that Tilde is Surka's daughter, and then over here, that her other friend, who is the admin for General Cabe, gets a message here. He says, "Greetings, Cabe, old friend. Don't be alarmed by my destroyed face." It just kind of funny scene there. Now, this is where things get very interesting for me. General Cabe says to Tilde, "Okay, so you are, if you're loyal, I'm going to give you this sword here, and you can use it to kill yourself honorably." So he hands her the sword. We flip back to that message. He's saying, "We fought well, Sarge." And then they respond, "Did you open that? They're coming for us now, but they will never." And then they respond, "It's a bomb." Tilde, of course, hesitates. She doesn't want to kill herself. She doesn't believe that what he's telling her is true. So he says, "You're wrong." And instead she grabs the sword for herself. That bomb over there explodes. The military space station is severely compromised. Chaos is running everywhere. And basically, they want everyone questioned. They want to figure out how this terrorist attack has happened. Everyone notes that they're under attack. And at the end, we have a very mad Tilde who now has a fire sword. And she looks very angry. So I'd have to say I'm very interested to see what happens in issue number 2. Is Surka still alive? Is Tilde going to go to Tartarus to seek out Surka? What's going to happen next? I think that Johnny Christmas did a good job of telling this story here. Now, there is a lot to this, and it does take a lot of, you do have to really be paying attention when you're reading, but I actually like that. I think that's really good. I think that this could be going in a really cool place, and I'm definitely looking forward to reviewing the second issue. So, thank you for joining me today. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you feel like leaving a comment, go ahead. Just be nice. If you want to make fun of me, go ahead. That doesn't make a difference to me, but just be nice to each other if you're going to. At any rate, this is the Son of the Morning, and this has been a Ye Olde Comic Con Modern Comic Review.